Cheers, everybody. Good morning. Hot coffee in hand, just made. Started my stream on time and just noticed that Bruce has been doom scrolling through today's news, waiting for the gigantic kaboom. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. But we're not doing politics on the stream. Or you guys want to do politics, whatever. I'm going to stay out of the politics because I am the most opinionated person when it comes to the politics, so I'm just gonna not do it. Not. An earth-shattering kaboom? What? I'm not doing a kaboom here. Not happening. Hi everyone, welcome. I just had some chili chips and my lips are a bit numb. Probably shouldn't have done that just before the stream. Really good chips though, potato chips. Very chilly. Wow. Yep, burning. Surprised it doesn't look like I've got lipstick on. So how's everyone doing? Well, we call them potato chips. In the UK, they call them crisps. So I guess in the EU, they call them something with a tax on it. No, let's not go there. In the EU, do they have to actually check every chip? Like, do they open the bag and check every chip that it's not too big and not too small and it doesn't interfere with any RF around? And then they put them back in the bag and seal them again? What? Frank's cut or DK Frank. I don't know how to say that, but anyway, we call them potato chips. You have to pass on the chili chips. Yas brought them over yesterday, and they were just sitting next to a coffee machine. And I had some yesterday during the day, and they were just sitting there, and I was making coffee, and I'm looking at them, and I'm going, I'm not even hungry. I don't eat breakfast normally, but you know what? Maybe I'll have a chip. And then 30 chips later, crumbs everywhere, burning lips. So, yeah. You have no celebration chips. I got viral on Reddit last night because of your golf. Yeah, did everyone see? Okay, so Christopher saying that weirdly because I don't know how to really say it. Is it just Christopher? Or is that actually, I apologize. Anyway, showed off a project which is not electronics. It's actually really cool. How do I get it bigger? I can't really. Okay. I'm gonna switch to one of them. That'll do. And I'm going to, I can download it. Okay. So this is already posted on Discord in the general projects. I don't know if there's any audio or not. Oh, there is. So check this out. It's just all mechanical. No electronics. That's very cool. Well designed. Well made. It's a lot of golf balls. Very well done. Is what legal? What? Tashipu? What'd you say? Anyway, okay. Well done. That's a great project. But what would be really cool is if you added just a microcontroller with an audio amplifier, and it could make like R2D2 sounds as it's doing it. Like every time you push the lever down, it presents a ball, but it does the R2D2 sounds. Anyway, because I have to overcomplicate everything. Yeah, and a lot of pink LEDs. So well done. So it got viral on Reddit. Very nice. You've got orders for them already? No, don't do that. No, don't overcomplicate it by sticking electronics in it. Things that can go wrong and bad. Okay, I'm going to say hi to folks in the chat. There aren't many people in chat today. I guess no one is interested in what I built in this little piece of magic that I've made. That's okay. Fine. It's not for everyone. It's just for me. I'm only making one of them. Just for me. Alan, good morning. Graham, hello. Taurus, hi. David Essa. Christopher, yes. Bruce. Gandalf, hi. Deshipu. Beata is here. Howdy. And Dinkelberg, hello. Ben Jones, first time caller from New Zealand. Hello, Ben. Welcome. X-Micron, hi. That's all the folks who have chatted. No one else has chatted. There's more people, concurrent reviewers, but no one's chatting. If you're new, or if you just haven't said hi, say hi in chat. Let everyone know you're here. Or not. It's okay. You can lurk if you want to. Daniel, hello. Jeff, hello. Maybe just people are still rocking up. Quite possible, because I started on time for a change. So I do have some coding to do on stream today. We don't have to. What I was planning on doing on stream today, I can't do. Oh, I got these things. I got lots of things. I got a box full of PCBs. I was the one bugging you about touch panel for there. Okay. Funny enough, I am going to have a look at it, just to see how you're identifying and sending data. Like, it'd be good if I didn't invent something from scratch that wasn't compatible with other things. But I just don't have the bandwidth right now to go through someone else's code to get to that point to work it all out. And I don't have any of the OXRS stuff here to test with, to have them talking that way, to be able to then, like, does that make sense? But I'm actually keen to have a look at that. For those that, I will get back onto what I was talking about in a minute ago. But for those that don't know what Ben and I are talking about, where's OXRS. So this is, I'm doing a John Oxer right now. So this, I'm going on chasing a squirrel. Funny enough, this is all because of John. So John Oxer, those, Superhouse TV, he's got this rack that he has designed. It's a home automation rack. So it looks like a networking rack, but it's actually not. It's for lighting and for other stuff. It's for, specifically for home automation. It just uses RJ45 for all of its cabling and stuff. And so he has been working on this. He does a lot of home automation stuff, as you'll probably gather from the Superhouse thing, and a whole bunch of his community members who have bought them and want to do stuff with them and whatever.
Alan Madsen says, can it run HA?
It's not a server. It's not a HA server. Just let me keep going. John was just working on hardware and whatever, and a bunch of folks got together and started working on software for it. And then what they did was started building out an ecosystem, and then called it. So it started off. They needed a name, so they called it the Extensible Rack System, and they've got a whole bunch of different add-ons. So, was there any pictures of any of them? Not really. So people are working on light, like smart light switches and displays, interactive displays, and people are hooking it up to all sorts of things. So yes, it works with people. I think it started off with ESP home stuff. Maybe I could be wrong. Ben is involved with the firmware side, maybe also the hardware side. There's a lot of stuff going into it, and it supports a lot of different things. Anyway, so that's what Ben was talking about. That they've already solved the plug a device in and have it automatically see it, adopt it, and be able to interact with it, right? But their project is specifically for home automation and stuff, right? Where mine's not. Mine is just a whatever you want to do with it. And I thought it'd be cool to be able to see my sensors here. So where they're doing dedicated products for home automation, right, for that whole ecosystem, it's, it's different to what I'm doing. But Ben sent me this info about how they're handling the whole detection and adoption and stuff. So I don't know why they're in Chinese. But like they have automatic detection and adoption of things. Anyway, so something I might look at some point. But right now I'm building a framework for this device, not a home automation console. Right? I'm building a framework / library that could allow other people to build whatever they want in it. So yeah, but that's what that is. So the reason this all came about is John is a big proponent, obviously, with home automation and stuff, and it's all about home. It all started off to do with redundancies and stuff, like a light switch that runs off home automation, like to say, like you flick a switch which sends a message back to somewhere which tells something to turn a light on and off where the switch isn't connected to the light directly. That's great, except when the internet goes out or the power goes, not the power, but the network goes out or the Wi-Fi goes out or the whatever goes out, right? And so, but anyway, okay, I'm getting off this. I'm going to go back to here. So back to my story of what I was going to do today. I got a box of PCBs, and inside that box of PCBs was, I'll take that out and that out and that out, was my Edge S3 prototype. That's inside an M.2 connector, and my carrier board prototype, which surprisingly does actually line up and fit. So I was going to build these on... Aaron's here. Hello, Aaron. Long time. I was going to build these on stream today and test them and make sure they work. But Silly Sion forgot to order one of the components on the board. The little tiny I/O expander. And I thought I'd ordered them. Couldn't find them here anywhere. Looked for a couple of hours. Went and checked. So they would have been bought from Mouser, but I went through all my orders in Mouser. Couldn't find where I ordered them. Checked DigiKey. Couldn't find where I ordered them. I know I didn't order them from LCSC because they don't have them in stock. They don't stock them. And so I got very upset and I ordered some. And they might even be here today, but not in time for the stream. So my plan was to build and prototype this and make sure it works. And for those that aren't aware what this is, This is a little tiny, fully featured microcontroller board. ESP32S3 microcontroller board, like all my other boards. So you can see on the back there, it's actually got even two little sections for 2 megabytes and 8 megabytes of PS RAM, depending on which chip I put on it. I haven't decided which one I'm going to put yet. So this has got everything on it. It's an ESP32S3. It's got all your power rails, so 5 volt, 3.3 volts, battery support, fuel gauge, and almost all of the edge connector pins are broken out to I/O. So it's like full on microcontroller board. ESD protection, onboard antenna, the works. And the whole idea is it's a reusable board. So unlike my other boards, like my OMG S3 or my Nano S3, which are really tiny, they get soldered to a board, or you solder wires to them, and they're kind of like a one-use board, where this is designed to fit into an M.2 socket. It's not an M.2 compatible board, but it uses an M.2 socket, so you can plug it in to a board and use it, but then you can take it out and use it in something else. So it's a reusable board. And I first started designing this over 2 years ago, but I just couldn't decide what I want to do with it, and what chip I was going to use, and what functionality I was going to put on it, and what size it was going to be, and blah, blah, blah. And it kind of just sat around for a while.
Cian, Chad has disconnected.
Yeah, okay. So does anyone know there's a feature in Safari? Oh, I know what's going on. Hold on one second, everyone. Hold on. I need to close a browser and open a browser and kill that one, and I need to pop out and kill that one. For some reason, when I opened my browser tab to go to the YouTube studio for streaming, to start the stream, I did it in a private window. I must have hit, when I went Command New, I must have had my finger near whatever the other button is. I don't know. And so because it was in a private window, every 2 or 3 minutes of inactivity, it goes to a password screen. You got to type your password in to get back into the window, which is really annoying. I just fixed that. So I just reopened it in a normal window. So what's the command to go into private window? File, new, right, shift. I must have had my hand near shift. So I did a command N. Why would I have had shift? I don't know. Must have knocked it. Maybe something was leaning on it. Anyway, all fixed. Yeah, command. Okay, so I must have done that. And it kept going into a password. I couldn't work out why. So that's ready to go as soon as I got my parts. So maybe that'll be next week on stream. I don't know. Or maybe I'll do it before that. So yeah. So instead, I'm going to show you what I spent the last few days doing. Oh. Can you sign the new, please? I hadn't spoken about all of that publicly, Kevin, but that's okay. So my lease is up. Get out of the bag. My lease is up here, and I've been contemplating moving to a different place, a bigger place, bigger single-story place, instead of a two-story place, to give myself more space, spread out more, bigger dirty area, solve some of the pain points I've had here. And actually, there's some really cool factories around that I could have moved to, but the expense of moving, which is massive, it's like over a year's worth of rent just to do the move, isn't worth it at the moment. And it's a pretty volatile industry and world at the moment. It's okay, Kevin. All good. So I discussed this on my supporters on one of my Patreon videos, and or my last one. And so anyway, my lease was up on Monday, and I'd been having a bit of a discussion about the ridiculous rent increase they put this place up, which is why I started looking. Like, you know, I'm comfortable here, but there are a couple of pain points that would be great if I didn't have them. And so it's bad enough having them, but did I want to pay more for the privilege of having them, or do I just move? But I've decided to stay, but I haven't signed the lease yet. That's a whole different story. But the deadline was Monday, 5 o'clock. The delay is on them, not on me. So I put a lot of work into this premises. I spent a lot of money getting it to where it is. But there are some things I didn't finish here that require more money, more spending, that I just didn't want to do just in case I was going to move. And I found a really great place to move to. It's only around the corner here, and it's 40% bigger. 40%? No. 30% bigger. 30% bigger, but all on one floor. And it's it was like an older factory that's been completely renovated. And so the ground is sealed, all the concrete's sealed, and the walls have all been painted and sealed, the brick walls. So there's no exposed brick and there's no whatever else. And and it's single story and big. And so I could have had, I could have done mini go-karts in there. Would have been awesome. But as I said, the cost in moving, just the cost in moving my line, right? And getting my line reset up, and like getting the Juki moved and reset up in a new place, and all my power for them, that alone, we're looking at, over $10,000 just to get all that moved. So, yeah. Did you, Dave? Hi, Dave. Did you see? Right, okay, you did as well. It's fine. Whatever. I'm happy. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. It's just, it's not solved yet. It's solved as in I'm not in trouble and I'm going to stay. But the delay is on them, so I haven't re-signed yet. And I did negotiate them down a little bit. I didn't want to pay any more of a rent increase. But, it is what it is. I'm not unhappy here. I just go up and down those steps a lot every day. But I have some solutions to some of the problems or some of the pain points here. Not all of them. I'm never going to be able to get a bigger dirty area because I literally, it's not a TARDIS. I can't move walls and make it bigger. But I have some solutions for some of the other things, but they cost money. And so, yeah. A pallet truck isn't that expensive. It's not just a pallet truck. No, it's I mean, apart from the fact that the Juki is 2.7 tons, it's got to be decommissioned and recommissioned when it gets moved. Like anyway. It's not quite like it was when I moved my stuff from home to here. My dirty area. No, if I open the big door, then the whole factory is a dirty area. I'm in the end of like a wind tunnel. So if there's even the remotest bit of wind outside, everything comes to me through my door. So, yeah. Not an eat more woody situation. No, it's a quite an expensive thing to move everything. Like just the power alone will cost me close to $10,000 just to get all the power done. Because it's all half the line's 3 phase. Anyway, like all the hanging struts, you can see like everything over there, that would all have to be done again, and all the power has to be brought over. It can't be on the floor and whatever. It would have been a lot of work, a big setup, and we're in a volatile world right now, and I'd like to say that business is going well, but it's not. It's rather poo-poo. So it was just too much of a risk, too much of an investment and a gamble to move and pay all that money to move, in such a volatile time. So I'm going to stay here. Unless someone wants to, unless someone finds me a rich uncle from, where are all the places they come from? Oh, Prince from Nigeria. Does anyone know if I've got an uncle who's a prince in Nigeria? So, yeah, it's all escalator. One of those. I don't know. I don't. Up and down the stairs is the only exercise I get. It's fine, but I do it a lot. Okay, so wow. Does everyone want to see what I did, what I made? Don't worry about what's on the screen. It's still all being worked on. Remember, it looks ugly. We're not discussing the what's on the screen ugly, right? But we're discussing the fact that ooh, display something unexpected. That it's sitting in a dock. And it's battery powered. Dun, dun, dun. And not only that, I wonder if the microphone, it'll pick it up. But, so we all know it's got sound already, right? I'm just going to, this is weird because I've got my camera here low down. So I've now got the touch library all going. So you can do single clicks, and you can do double clicks, and you can do a long click, and you can do swipe, up, down, left, right. It detects all those things. And you can even subscribe to them. So down the bottom, right, with the joke, when I click on them, oh, why'd that do that flicker? Oh, okay. New bug. Writing in programs like nature, there are too many bugs. How funny. New bug. Anyway, so apart from that flash, that's actually really disappointing. Hang on. I wonder why it's doing that. I'm just going to reboot it. Hit the reset button. You think it's ready for pre-orders? Maybe. Oh, look at that. Different background. Every time you boot it, it picks a random wallpaper. Is that in focus? I just realized I held it and didn't focus it. So that's better. See that nice fade in and out? So guess what else I added? I added an animation, like a tweening library that I wrote. I got a little bit of help from ChatGPT because it was Crash City, but I've added an animation library for this UI system that runs in its own task. So that fading in and out, oh, see, it's flashed again now. Wonder what that's about. That whole, I just tell it to fade out, and it does a fade out with a callback. So when it finishes the fade, it fires a callback, and the callback tells it to load the next joke and then fade itself back in again. And all of that happens in a task behind the scenes. So it's independent of whatever is happening. How cool is that? So, anyway, and it's got, I don't know how I'll try to do this. You might not be able to hear it. No. Okay. It was a bit soft. It's got haptics. I added haptics to the back inside as well. So there's a haptics motor, which you can feel when you're holding it. It's not a huge motor. So it's got I2S audio. It's got a haptic motor as well now. I moved a whole bunch of stuff around. It's got I2Cs now on the side. So you got a one I2C port that you can plug something into. And you've got the SD card. What? Where's Bruce going? Let's go and pick up a circular saw. Wow, okay, just don't pick it up with your fingers by the saw when it's spinning, okay? How does a haptic motor interact with the magnetic connector? Well, it doesn't, because the haptic motor is up here, and the magnetic connector is down there. So, very far away from each other. and it's a little motor that's just on the side here. So like it's not huge, but you can absolutely feel it. This screen's not sitting quite right inside the case. You can see, maybe you can see here, it's sticking out. So I had to adjust the PCB a little. So there's one more revision coming of the PCB, but it's going to be the production one. I have made some changes. I've taken the onboard antenna off, and it's going to be an external antenna inside along the top. The antenna works great. So like, you know, the weather and the time and these jokes, they're all from the internet. Like when I booted it up, it went and grabbed them all from the net. It works fine. But because it's inside a case and it's going to be in someone's hand maybe, or in someone's pocket or whatever, I'm adding a bigger external antenna. It'll still be on the inside, but yeah. And I had to also, the connector for the screen, I had to move it over 0.5 millimeters, which is why this screen isn't sitting quite right inside, to line up with the, I might also get rid of these bottom standoffs, because they're actually, there's not enough room to get a nut, the top of a nut in there. And it's actually locked in at the bottom here. It's clicked into the case. So it might not need these two. I might just get rid of them. But anyway, that's it. So that's how it all turned out. And so this is a matte black. And this is also matte black. Interesting, it's got ringing on the front here. You might be able to see on the 3D print, but not on the sides. That's weird. Anyway, this is a 3-part. I'm going to unplug this. Any possible extension point to add IR? Well, there's an I2C port on the side, but that's only for I2C. Like, you can't repurpose that IO for anything else. It's on the same bus. Go away. So probably not IR, no, but IR. Why IR? There's no place to stick, and there's no free IO at all. So yeah, the answer to that would be no, I would think. So this is in 3 parts. I should open this up because it's actually pretty cool. And find it right. So you can see it's got little rubber feet on the bottom I added, which stops it from moving, which is good, but it also means that it rocks easier now than it did before. But anyway, 2 screws hold this together. Yeah, I know what it could be used, what IR could be used for, but I don't know how you'd hoodwink that on. There's no free IO at all. Well, other than possibly there might be a couple of IO free on the IO expander, but yeah, it won't be something I'll be adding. Sorry. And unless you can find an I2C device that can then talk IR. So this all goes together as 3 parts. It's probably going to ship in 3 parts. Let me just move the camera out. Oops. And try to focus this thing. Black on white. Look at that. I've got M8 nuts in the front just to give it some weight. So it's in 3 parts, and this is the little PCB that will be stuck on the inside. It actually gets held together by the 3 pieces. So 2 threaded nuts here. And this all clips together and is held together by these 2 nuts. But that's a PCB, which is obviously in here. And get it in. Let's see if I can get it in. What am I doing? So I've got my camera in the way of my face. There we go. So it just goes in there, and then this bit, these 2 bits here, lock it in place. So that holds it in place there. and then obviously the bottom clicks on, and that's how that works, and it works really well. Let me screw this back together so it doesn't fall apart. That'd be really bad. Are you going to hand assemble them all? I might ship these in pieces. I don't know. As in the screens as well, and everything else. I don't know. So there's one more thing I need to add to this. So you don't have to use the dock. The dock is cool, but not everyone's going to want to use the dock. But you can't charge or program it without the dock. But what I'm going to do is make one more connector for this, a different USB connector that connects to this with a sideways USB port that you can just connect on here to flash and charge it without a dock. So if you want it just sitting on the table, and it would be just something that connects to the back there, where the USB will just, you know, connect like this or whichever side. I might do that as well. But anyway, the dock is pretty cool. And yeah, it clicks. It can't fall out. There's a lip at the front, right? And I haven't got all the magnets in because I didn't get the tolerances quite right on here. I got one magnet there, but extra magnets just for holding it in place, but it's not really necessary. When you put it on, did I not put it on? Oh, there we go. Right, you hear that beep? So it knows when it's been docked. It goes ping, and the battery icon goes to charge. So notice that when it's off, it's showing what the battery state is. Oh, this focus. It's showing the battery state, but when you put it on, it beeps and it shows its charge state. Hey, David. So it's working really well. This little bit here is just the adhesive from the screen. So the screens have... I'm deliberately not sticking them on. The screens have adhesive around them. They're designed to stick. I don't want to do that because you can't take it all out then. But if people, when they get them, if they want to stick them in, they can. But that's what that little tab is just this little bit here sticking out. So it was folded under at one point, but it's not now. So, but can I just say this is what I originally wanted. Like this is awesome. Like obviously the whole flip thing, what I started with, but it was to have something that I could have in my hand like this, or something I could then use on my desk. And this just works great. You can't plug it on the wrong way. Like it's you know what I mean? It's impossible. I mean, it's possible to get it on there without it being lined up correctly, like I just did before. But it generally magnets in. And as you can see, it can't go backwards. But you know, I can push it back over, but I can use it. You know, whether maybe I'll make the dock a bit longer, I don't know. It was working better before I put the rubber feet on. The rubber feet make it rock now, but...
Alan Madsen says make it so it can show the chat. If you go down under.
Yeah. So anyway, it's coming together. I mean, I'm still working on, as I said, the framework, but I've got haptics integrated, got the battery stuff integrated. I'm not showing the voltage or the percent, but I can do that. That's, again, it's its own widget, right? I can make it where you can tap it and it'll change. I just haven't done that yet. Weather's in, I want to be able to show the forecast. I'm changing how the whole MQTT stuff's working at the moment. Needs longer support on the back. You mean here? Sure, but I don't. If the dock ends up being twice as big as the device, that's not great. And this dock's already much taller than what
Winklerberg says, can't you sink the rubber feet a bit into the 3D print, like 60% of the feet inside the plastic?
It already is. They already are. But they still stick out. They're about half of the way in. It just doesn't, yeah. Just is what it is. But it's fine. Like, as I said, it's totally usable. Like, I don't have a problem. You know, I mean, I can keep refining it till the cows come home. It used to be much shorter, the dock. Not that way, but this way. But the problem is you can't get a USB. So if your USB cable is like mine, where it's got a really long, that's really long. Like, I've got some USB cables where the non-flex bit is shorter, and I've got some that are even longer. But because of how long this is and on an angle, right, then it needs to be quite high to get to put no pressure on the cable here, right? I didn't want people to have to twist their cable like that. Looks like it gets to big leverage when pressed. No, it's no, there's plenty of room. But that's the point. When I had the shorter one, there wasn't plenty of room, but I much prefer the shorter dock. Anyway, it's fine. It works exactly like it's supposed to. No pressure on the cable. Screen pressed 20 millimeters that follows the USB. What? I don't understand. Looks like it gets to big leverage when pressed. Just 20 millimeters that follows the USB out. I don't know what that means by. Like, I'm putting a lot of pressure on this, pushing it. If I press the buttons on top.
Alan Madsen says looks cool.
I don't know what you mean. I mean, it's 1 centimeter longer at the back. No, it'll need more than 1 centimeter. I don't really necessarily. I don't know.
X Micron says great job, Cian.
Thanks, folks. I've done a lot of revisions, a lot of printing and changing and tweaking. I might make it a bit longer. I might not. I don't know. I guess the question right now is going to be, whether I sell it with the dock or without. And one of the things I've been considering is whether I sell it with the case or without the case. Like, whether I only ship them like this, or whether I ship them if people just want the screen and the PCB. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm not sure. It's not done. Well, it's done. I'm going into production.
John Clayton says, I like it how it is, Doc. Looks like a lot of work on your part.
Thanks, John. It has been a lot of work. A lot of work. But I wanted to make something that was nice and worked really well. So assembling them is actually not too bad. But, you know, so there's a battery. Obviously, as I said, there's a battery inside. And I'm going to ship them with a battery. So, you know, I might have just a few batteries here, box of batteries. They got 1500 milliamp hour battery inside it. How long does it last? No idea. Like, I've not even implemented screen dimming at the moment. I've got some code I started working on. Like, right now, it's just running at almost 100% brightness off battery. Because, you know, why not? But I have no idea how long the battery will last. But there's a lot of firmware still to do. I would love it. You'd love it if it was thinner. This, yeah, not a chance. Yeah, so there's no room inside there. So yeah, the regulations have changed that you have to declare it, but you can now ship things like mobile phone or a tablet or a watch or a device. This is like a tablet, right? That has a battery in it, so long as the battery is under a certain size and the device can be switched off, which obviously this has a power button on the back. Just you push and hold it, and that's now in an off state. That's is powered down, right? So as long as I ship it powered down, and you have to be careful, it can't accidentally turn itself on, because if the button gets knocked, it will maybe turn on. Right, so there is that. Ooh, buzz, 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 buzz. Ship switch on, right. Yes, common sense getting traction. So there's a lot of firmware still to do. So yes, the hardware is, obviously I did a 3D. I did a 2-color print on this one just for fun. I'm not going to do that on them. This will just look like not that one. It'll just look like that on the back. Or maybe I'll do a transparent one, a transparent second color. I don't know, but I might offer. Thanks, Kevin. So I've got a whole bunch of different. I mentioned last week I've got different colored filaments, matte filaments. I've got like orange and like tan, retro colors, and red and blue. I'm gonna print a case out of each type just to see which colors look good, and I might offer different colors for them. Not sure about the dock though. I might just do the dock in black. But I also put these in my. So you want the hard without the cat, right? But I don't know. I doubt I'm going to be doing that. You won't be able to. Well, you won't. That's assuming I'm going to offer the case design as something that you can print. Yeah. Unsure at the moment. Yeah. If I sell the screen and the PCB by itself, it's going to be missing a whole bunch of stuff that you won't have. You won't have the haptics, you won't have the battery, you won't have the speaker, so you won't have a lot of the functionality. So, because they can't all be shipped separate, especially the battery. Anyway, I might do these different colors, but I put these in my JLC 3D print order yesterday. I was going to get them in, I was going to get a version done in nylon. So FDM nylon, FDM ABS, FDM ASA, and then also in their new black resin. And I was going to just get one of each just to see and sample and see how nice they look. But I chickened out at the last second about doing that, and I'm glad I did, because I had to make one tiny revision to the case. So I'm glad I cancelled that order, but I might look at doing that as well, so I don't have to print them. But maybe, we'll see. So no IKEA kit anytime soon. No, this is not designed to go as a kit. This has been designed to be fully integrated together. I mean, a lot of work has gone into how everything fits inside. Okay, I'll pull it apart. I wasn't planning on it, but did that turn off? Okay, let's pull it apart. I know it's on battery in it, but can it only? Well, you can't. You can not have a battery and just have it docked, but without it being docked, it won't work. Right? So the docked is for flashing and power and charging. So yes, I could unplug Hang on. So I just got to be careful. It's not attached, but it is attached. So that's what we have inside. So I've got to be careful with the haptic motor. The wires, I've moved where the wires are slightly on the production boards to just have that not quite so tight. There's the battery. The battery is designed specifically this size to fit in here with the speaker on the side there. You might not be able to see the speaker with the lighting. There we go. And they are designed to be like, they cannot be any other size than this. Their thickness, their position, this gap on the side here for these things to fit in, it's all very specific. But anyway, so yeah, I could unplug the battery and not have the battery, but it'll have to sit on the dock all the time. Okay, now that I've did that, I'm going to put it all back together. Now, I do have a 3D print design for cable management that goes inside in between, but I didn't get around to printing that. Okay, I'm just going to put this in front of me when I put it back together to make sure I don't crimp the haptics wire. Okay. I got it. Good. So put it back together again. No, that battery was like that. It's not being poked. There was a couple of batteries that came out of the box that had those little marks on them. I've already emailed the supplier and asked them what they are, but I only found 2 batteries like that. The rest of them were fine. So I just used that battery in here. Okay. So as I said, this isn't quite sitting all the way in right now. Yeah, the screen, because of that issue with the placement. The haptics actually works better than I thought they would. Oh, another bug. Hello. Did I not get this in properly? Oh, did I get the wire in the way? Oh, I got the wire in the way. I shouldn't have opened it. Ah. Be a great stream deck. It could be anything. Like, as I said, I mean, whatever that my UI is doing right now, it doesn't really matter. It's just a framework I'm building. I got a Y caught. Sorry, folks. I just need to. I don't know what it is. Hey, Tech Nubius. Sorry, this is an unexpected interruption. What is in the way? That's okay. Get out of the way. got a the wire was wrapped around the button, I think. Still wrapped around it. But I need to solve this or I can't plug it in. Okay, this is annoying. Come on, cable, go away. Okay, that's better. So yeah, I've got a little 3D print that sits over the cables and holds them where they're supposed to be. But it's very thin and I need to refine it a little bit. Okay. No, did it again. Must have moved. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to connect. Damn, I need little tiny cable ties. Hello, Cello Floss. You're going to magnetically connect. Okay, I can't flash it if that's the case. I'm going to have to take one of these wires out. Or reroute it. You can't even see what I'm doing. I'm very sorry. I can't do this under the thing. I shouldn't have pulled it apart. The haptic wire is is about 4 millimeters too short, and so it makes it really hard. I don't have enough room to wrap it around, to open this up and lie it flat because of it. Lie flat. Don't move. Should just picked it up the first time. So I can get, one of the problems is the speaker wire is really long and it wraps around things, and I can get speakers with shorter wires, but I've already got stacks of these. Please work. Okay, that's working now. Wow, that was full on. Nope. Okay. Okay, so it's charging, which means I can flash it. Whew, sorry about that. I only literally got this built at about 6:15 last night. Hey Paul, how you doing? Been a long time. So yeah, I was like, I messaged Yaz and said I'm going home late for dinner. I'm still printing, and the print came off, and I assembled it all a couple of times. It literally just came together. So glad to hear. Glad to hear. So I'm going to make these. Okay, I've got 20 screens. Obviously, I can make as many cases as I want. I've got enough parts here for, I don't know if I've got enough parts for 20. A lot of the parts were just for prototyping. I need to get, obviously, panels made. It's going to have to be a hybrid pick and place and hand assembly. There are just too many unique parts that if I'm doing a short run, I'm not going to pull the production line apart to get these new parts on there just to be able to, place 10 of them or 20 of them. Hey, Mad Techie. So I'll end up doing it like a hybrid build on them where I'll get, all the passives, all the parts that I've already got on the machine onto it, and the rest I'll hand place. I've got enough speakers. I've got probably only got about 10 haptic motors. I'll have to get some more of those. I've only got another 9 of the magnet things, and I've ordered 50. They're on their way. Don't know when they're going to be here. So, and I need to buy, I don't have any, I think I've got 2 ESP32 R8 chips left. So it uses the R8, so the 8 meg of octal PS RAM. So yeah, there's a few things I need to organize to kind of line up production. But my plan is I'll get some made and I'll put them on the store, and the firmware will just be evolving. The firmware is obviously going to be open source, and I'll just keep adding to it and tweaking and changing, and it's, although it'll do stuff when you get it, like this. I mean, the MQTT stuff won't necessarily work, but well, not necessarily. It won't work because it's configured to work with my stuff here right now. Excuse me. But although it'll come with something that does something, it's just a demo of the framework. And so, if you're wanting it to do something, you're going to have to code that yourself from this framework, right? I've got a lot of stuff I'm still working on for it. I really want to flesh it out a lot more. Dark skin, like themes, so light and dark themes. I've started working on themes for it. So, and then, yeah, I'll just keep working on it. Like, and if people want to also contribute to it, they can. So I started working on a Wi-Fi widget. I tried getting internet radio streaming going, but all the internet streaming stuff for the ESP32 is shit now. Anyway, there's only really 2 libraries that can do internet radio, and the one that I'm using, which doesn't work very well at all, it's unusable. And the other library that works better doesn't have any of the other functionality that I need for this. So, and you can't have both libraries in there talking at the same time, or you can't have them both coexisting. So, yeah, but this could load songs off SD. Although, remember, you can't stream off SD. You can't do I2S audio and SD at the same time. Anyway, whatever. So, I just realized I'm not even on the right screen. Right. I kept pointing at the device, but I wasn't even there. So, still probably a couple of weeks till I have them in the store. Although I could make like another 4 here. I've got 4 PCBs here. I could make another 4, but I'm probably going to wait. Is there a web browser for it? Yeah, there's no web browser for it, Ian. Hello, Ian. It's a ESP32. You can't get a web. There's no operating system on there. There's no web browser. No. Yeah, you want a Raspberry Pi, dude, with a touch screen. Is what you want. That runs an operating system that can use a browser. Yeah. It's just a microcontroller running a screen. That's all it is. I don't know of anyone who's been working on. Does anyone know any projects for a web browser for the ESP32? ESP32. Is there a web browser? There's a textual web browser. Yeah. No. No web browser. Web servers, sure. Web browser, no. Yeah, I'm just looking around, but what's the bomb? So we can. I have no idea what the bomb cost is. I haven't costed it yet. I don't have a price for the device yet. I'll tell you right now, I'm not aiming this to be a budget thing. Putting too much work in it to make it budget. Um, if you're after like a budget MCU with a screen, you can. I think so. Waveshare or someone's already got something similar, mate, or whatever, or the ESP Home one, ESP Home, the Home Assistant one. Hello, Half Greek Geek. Like this designed to be a premium, not Apple level premium, right? But yeah, um, like the fact that you're trying to work out what it might cost based on the BOM cost. Um, that's the wrong way of thinking about what the price is going to be. So yeah, just being honest. Um, so Larry added something really cool for me in his library, and I have not had a chance yet to see if
Alan Madsen says unexpected premium Mabby.
when I say premium, it's not going to be a $49 device, right? It's gonna, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not telling you what the price is. I haven't made a I haven't done a budget for it yet. Mr. Few, what is it? I've designed a dockable, feature-rich touch device that uses magnetic docking for charging and flashing. That it's a 480 by 480 capacitive touchscreen device with all the bells and whistles. It turned out it's met all my expectations of what my design goals were for it. All the fun, and you want to be paid as well. Terrible, yeah. 4 times on, well, standard hardware. Yeah, I don't even have a ballpark. I don't know. And four times no one gets 4 times the BOM. But again, I'm not pricing electronics. I'm pricing a product, right? And a product isn't 4 times the BOM. Electronics is 4 times the BOM, or in most cases, you're lucky if you get 1.5 or 2 times the BOM. That might be how people, makers price electronics. Yeah, it's an ESP32 S3, 16 mega flash, 8 meg of, no, it won't be $499. um, I'd love to charge $499 for it, but no, it won't be like that. It'll be sub $100, I think. Anyway, I want to try seeing if I can, where you could add a web server that exposes the values through an API. Yeah, that's not what he needs though. He needs a web. He needs, yeah. Wait, yeah. Ian needs a web browser. A web browser that goes to the internet, grabs stuff off a website, and displays it on the screen. That's nothing to do with a web server with API or anything else. He needs an actual web browser. The thing he wants to display on the screen comes from a different website, so a different web server. So yeah, that's not possible on this on a microcontroller right now. I wouldn't have thought. I've not seen one. Okay, Howard. So Larry added something for me the other day, which I've using for the background drawing. I mean, if your device could expose an, well, I don't know what we mean by an API, but there is a web server already as part of this for accessing settings of the device, like setting up MQTT things, setting up your Wi-Fi, blah, blah, and other things, right? But yeah, I don't know what you mean by an API. An API doesn't do anything unless there's software on the other side of the API that actions whatever the API is. That's not what this is. I mean, other people are welcome to develop stuff like that if they want to, but okay, I'm going to, sorry, stay focused for a couple of minutes, and I want to try something. I'm going to turn off MQTT just for the moment, and I want to I'm just going to hack in. I want to draw. I'm going to, when it reboots, these icons will be gone, and I'm going to. I want to put something in the middle of the screen there, just so I can try something. I want to try something. So. I'm just hacking this in because I just want to try if I can do a reversed image. You'll understand what I mean in a second. So test sprite. Okay, I'm going to say if not test sprite.get buffer. I'm going to test sprite dot create virtual. I'm going to make it 100 by 100 true. True tells it to go into PSRAM, and then I'm going to you talk about the general price margin for your products. I was recently approached about a public transport LCD display. So my pricing is based on what the market will accept, not what my costs are. You know, if I based my product pricing on what my actual real costs are, my products would be twice the price. So, you know, that's the fallacy with the whole using a bomb to gauge the value of a product or the price of a product, because it ignores all of the work that goes in other than the components of the product, right? And that's what people do with Apple all the time. They go, oh, the new iPhone, you know, that, you know, it's $1,800 iPhone, and it's got, you know, we've worked out the price and it's only got $570 worth of parts. So Apple are making $1,300 on their phone, and they totally ignore the billions of dollars of R&D and manufacturing setup costs and prototyping costs and blah 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 and blah blah blah, right? So, but at the end of the day, my products are priced at least my microcontroller boards are priced at the top end of what I think the maximum kind of price point someone will pay for one of these products for a quality product. But that doesn't mean that that's the right price for them. That just means that's the price I can get for them. So the fallacy of charging more, selling less, but making the same amount of money doesn't work for electronics. It might work for other things, but electronics, you get the price down with scale. And so if I charged twice as much and sold half as many, I wouldn't make twice as much because my cost per unit would go up, right? You need to hit that sweet spot of getting the best value for the components. And if I'm buying less PCBs, then my cost per PCB goes up. If I'm buying less parts, not getting 4 reels or multiple reels, then my cost of components go up, right? If I have to run run the line to do 100 boards instead of 500 boards, then my cost per board goes up, because the amount of time to set up the line and then take the line down and clean it down and set up the job is the same if I'm running 100 or 500, but I'm only getting 5 times less value out of it, right? Out of that time spent. So have you got anything to place near it as a size comparison? Extra you pay having to replace failed products? Very little, because I over test every single thing. Are you talking about the screen? Half geek, Greek geek? Anything to place it next to? A Baby Yoda. I mean, it's my hand. It's a 4-inch screen. It's a 4-inch diagonal screen. So, sole manufacturing, price at the top end. What you think people are prepared to pay? Yeah, that's all I can do, right? But it should be higher. Honestly, and there are so many sunk costs. So when I sell a product, someone buys a product, they buy a board, let's say for $20 US, they pay for their shipping, and I need to ship it, right? So what about the time it takes me to pack the order, print the label, validate the thing, validate the order, get all these stuff together, submitting it to Australia Post with all the correct information for customs and everything else, print the label, go downstairs, bubble wrap, packaging, label printing, putting it all together, and then going down and taking it to the post office and shipping it, right? How do I calculate that time into that $20 product cost? Like that is a totally sunk time and a totally sunk cost of shipping material, because since COVID, unfortunately, shipping is just insanely ridiculously priced. And I've been subsidizing shipping since COVID, right? So rather than me going, well, the shipping cost me X and I'm going to add a couple of bucks for the bubble wrap and the padded bag and the label, forget about my time, right, to package it, I'm actually already losing $2 or $3 per item on the shipping and not covering any costs. So when someone buys one board from me, and they do it all the time, I don't understand why. Someone will pay $20 for a board and then they'll pay 20 something dollars to ship it to Europe, right? Like, at least buy 2 boards, because that makes your shipping cost half per board, right? But anyway, catch you later, Dave. Have a good sleep. But let's say they do that. So on that one board, that $20 board, I still lose my money on shipping and don't cover the packaging costs, and that comes off my profit on the board, and then I end up making not worthwhile selling that one board, right? But the only thing that makes it worthwhile me doing it is being at a scale where the boards are costing me the cheapest they can possibly cost me. That makes sense? I've not had any fraud. I personally have any fraud. I don't sell through Amazon. I don't sell through eBay. They're the worst. I got resellers who sell through those. They take responsibility for the fraud. I've not had any issues with fraud, personally myself, all that I know of. And I've replaced boards for people that shouldn't have been replaced. as in it's not been a problem with the board, it's been a user error, right? Either they've damaged the board or they just whatever. And I will generally, to make it a good experience for especially someone new to my products, I will help them out. So I've replaced things unnecessarily. And sure, I've had to replace like faulty things, but we're talking about a tiny percentage. And you know, it's a tiny percentage of items, not including the quantity of items that I've shipped, right? Even separate to the quantity of items. Like my DOA or issue rate is very, very low, but I invest a huge amount of time. Yeah, way less than 1%, way less. Probably less than 0.3%. But I invest a lot of time and effort to make sure that's the case. Because if I have to replace one item, then that's my profit for 3 or 4 products gone just by replacing one item. Because that one item that I lose money on, I also have to pay for shipping to ship that item out. And with the shipping rates right now, you know, if I have to pay $20-something to ship something out to someone to replace it for them, that $20 comes off my profit of you know, a whole bunch of boards. So no, my and my, you know, replacement rate is obviously dropping. Like early on, it was a bit higher as I was finding my groove and whatever else. But yeah, no, it's I have a massive aversion to and I just don't want people to experience a failure when they get a product. Like, it's nothing worse. And it happens occasionally. And as I said, probably I'd say 70% of the time, it's not my product, it's the user. And most of those times, I'll still help them out. So, list of my products at below cost, just try to get some exposure at promotional price. Yeah, that's hard to stay in business doing that, though. Greek geek. I had a user put a 40 into an output of a 10-volt voltage source. Well, and fixed it for free. Yeah, so that's right. You gotta look after your customers, right? The value I see on the screen, temp, that another app could read those values through an API that's running on a device web server and send that JSON. But they can just read that data that's coming into here anyway. They can read it from the sensor. This is just getting them from a sensor. So the other thing can get it from a sensor. I mean, I understand what you're saying. That's not something I'm developing. If you want to develop something like that, you can. But that's not a... Yeah, it's not something that I'm looking at developing for this. I really wanted to... Test Sprite, I want to fill it with okay, I just need to focus for a minute. Fill screen with TFT white. Okay, so I'm filling 100 by 100 Sprite with white. I know it says fill screen, but it's working on a Sprite. And then I'm going to test Sprite dot set free font. What do I want it to, just bear with me a second. I just want a big font. What am I using here? Actually, I want it to be B. Okay, so I'm setting that font and I'm going to set cursor to be 10,10 of that font, of that thing, and I'm going to print, I was going to 50%, but I'm going to set the color, set text color to be TFT magenta, 50 white. So it's going to print magenta on white. It's going to look ugly, right? And then we're going to LCD dot alpha blend. Oh, blend sprite. I need a customer IT department asked for a similar item to yours that could be put into classrooms that the teachers could see messages and see global messages, take the register, etc. Yeah, that's called a an iPad. Like, why any ID departments would be when I was starting harder, it depended on idiot customers. Most customers aren't, and most customers are helpful. Why any IT department would ever consider any form of a custom hardware solution when they can just use an iPad or an Android tablet or an Android device. I know this is just, no one knows what I'm doing, but I want to see if this works. I want to just delay there because I want to then read the background. Where am I putting it? Am I going to put, where's the middle? Roughly. So 240, so 190 by 190, 190 by 190, 100, 100. So I'm reading whatever's on the screen and putting it into the test sprite back. So it's going to read the background. I'm putting it into that sprite, grabbing that once, and then I'm going to now blend this test sprite onto the back and I'm going to do it 50%. So and I'm going to set a transparency color of magenta. Okay, let's see if this works. It had to be polled to make sure class was okay. Right, but that's just software, right? That's just software on a device. Making a custom hardware device, screen, touch, and then custom software, complete custom software, rather than just solving it with software on an existing hardware device. Whoa, lots of drop frames. Can anyone hear me? Oh, my internet just went bang. Fast charts for the register. And hey, John. Yeah, there's solutions for this already. YouTube's not receiving enough. Yeah, I don't know, just had stacks of dropped frames. I don't know what's going on. Like 833 frames in a row. Okay, why isn't it there? Did I not blend it to the right spot? Oh my God, I didn't write it. Ha 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 ha. Didn't put it on the screen. So I blended the sprite. But I didn't draw it to the screen. This is a very complicated way of me showing Actually, I don't even need to blend it. I'll do that. So what I'm trying to do, something that's really hard to do on any, I don't know, any other graphics library that can do this. I want to do inverse text. Instead of doing white text on a screen, hey, life and cycling, like instead of doing a box with white text on the screen where around it is just transparent, I want to do the inverse, right? I want to be able to write some text in a box and have the box be white and semi-transparent, but have the text cut out so you see the background. Something that's, you can't do that in any other graphics library that I've seen. So that's the thing. Larry's been adding a whole bunch of functionality for me to be able to do things. Let's see if it works. It worked, except the font's too small. Why is the font so small? 125. Okay, it definitely worked. You can't see it. Too bright. Okay, hold on. We need to wide the font. Go, so should be using. Oh, I did not set up number 5, so it's falling back. Maybe it's falling back. What am I using on time? Is R5. Okay, maybe this one will work. So, yeah, I highly recommend people don't get into the hardware business. To hear what type of dock. A dock that I made, and I can't show you, it's flashing it right now. Pulling this off the dock right now will kill the flashing. Yeah, doing hardware for a living, yeah, the whole analogy is hard. Not just as a business is hard. Like just designing and shipping hardware is hard, but as a business, even harder. So, come on. Okay, that also worked, but it's off. I forgot to center it. I want that to be at, I don't know, 60. One more time. Do I seriously? Do I not have 5, 0, 1, 2, 3? Oh, so I don't. Right, but I do have a big. Okay, I will change it back. So B. Okay, so I want it to be bold. I see an oversized tiny watch. Is it an optical I2C dock? No, it's a magnetic. It's not nothing to do with I2C. It's a magnetic USB dock for flashing and charging. Sorry, I'm flashing again, and then I'll show you. An SP Chunky 32. I don't know what an I2C dock would be useful for. Go. There we go. Look at that. So, can everyone see? Might be a bit hard. Let me see if I can turn this down a bit. Maybe not. Zoom in. So, a bit hard to see on the camera, but that white box is 50% transparent. You can actually see the background through it. A bit hard to see. But the text is punched out. So the text is, you can see through it. It's an inverse effect, right? Very, very hard to do that, or impossible to do that in any other graphics library. So Larry only added this functionality the other day for me, but I hadn't had a chance to do this. I want to make all of those widgets that appear, the gauges appear, not be like those. I don't want to do Home Assistant style widgets. I want to do, this is going to have Apple style widgets. Anyway, I'll show you what I mean in a moment. So yeah, let me just zoom out. So wagon loads, this is the dock. So that's the dock. That's the device. And so it's got the magnetic charging and for flashing. It's not quite a pocket watch. You can definitely go in your pocket, but I wouldn't call it a watch. Yeah. So that's the dock, and it works way better than I expected it would. Ping, I love that ping every time. So let me see if I can find make room. Right, so anti-aliasing fonts is coming, but they're much more expensive, right? And so, but yes, that's actually, so Larry added the first pass for anti-aliased fonts. Actually, I might even be able to, the font will go smaller. Hold on one moment. I might be able to do, set anti-alias. This won't work with transparent fonts right now, but it might work with this. So let me try that. This will make the font smaller, but it might be anti-aliased. Let me see if I can find this image. To explain the type of look I'm talking about. And funny enough, it's on not an Apple product yet, but a mock-up of what the product might look like. Here we go. Open in a new window. So this is a mock-up of what Apple's new home devicey thing might be. And so you see how they do their, whoops, the crap image. See if I can get to it. But you see how they do their thing with inverse kind of widgety things. I kind of like that look. Okay, that did not work. Right, it can't do inverse. Okay, so I need to wait for this anti-alias, this anti-alias thing to come that he's working on right now, because it doesn't quite work. It messes with the colors. It's a bit hard to see. Okay. So it is anti-alias now, but it inverts the punch out colors. It doesn't understand. Anyway. But still, anti-aliasing text is coming. It's quite hard to do and expensive. It will make it extra polished, but also make screen updates a bit slower, and it'll make firmware size much bigger because the fonts, to do anti-alias fonts, the technique that he does to do it, because there's no support for it built in, like not like a GPU or a graphics engine. To get a font that size, the starting font has to be twice the size. He does this technique on it, so it means that the font size, I'm gonna have to ship massive font sizes to be able to do AA text at that size. But look, it looks pretty good without it, honestly. Maybe not the inverse stuff, but no, it's not a computer screen. It's not a computer. It's not a web browser. It's a microcontroller running code, like any microcontroller. You plug any TFT or whatever into a microcontroller. You're coding what's on the screen. I mean, if someone wants to write I don't even know how you do it. Someone would have to write a complete rendering engine, like a web browser, that can read and parse CSS and then display it on the screen. That's what a web browser is, right? You can't get a web browser for a microcontroller. They're not powerful enough. So yeah, no, that's what a Raspberry Pi is for. Okay, anyway, I'm going to comment that out. That's not going to be there. How long have we been going for? 1 hour 42. I mean, I'm happy to keep coding on some stuff. There's something I wanted to do. I'm going to make the widgets that come up for the MQTT stuff. I'm going to have them it's not going to show a temperature and a humidity for one sensor. It's going to show just one thing, and then I'm going to cycle them. If you tap on them, it'll change the stat. So I'm going to change that to be what the sensor is. BME 280. Is it BME 280? I think it is. Replace. Except need to rename these. BME 280. BME 280. Okay. And so based on, so I've got this.
Cian, chat has disconnected.
Okay, please come back. Please, please. Okay, graphics. Where did I write? Oh, I got gauge. Load. Huh? Oh, wow. Okay. Way to go. It's a gouache. It's a gouache. Do you know what a gouache is? It's a new word. Oh, man. Oh, well. I'm going to be deleting the humidity ones, so I'm not going to change those. Big commit. Commit? Who commits their code? This is not in a it's in a repository, but it's not a public repository right now. So, yeah. I wouldn't worry about that. Serial.printf sensor index is now payload index. Okay, let's right. I gotta rename these just for now. So it will compile before I delete them, because there's stuff in them that I want to keep. I need to panelize these boards and send them off today. That's my plan for by the end of the day today. I'll do one last review on the PCB, and then I don't know how I'm going to panelize them yet. Maybe just 4 on a panel to start with. I'm not sure I can fit 4 too vertically. Anyway, just a matter of being able to get them into the pick and place machine. There's stacks of passives. There's like, 45 or 50 passives on the board. And so that's a lot of sitting there by hand, placing passives on. So definitely don't want to do that. The dockless flashing cable. And I need to do that. I need to design that alternate PCB. Maybe. I don't know. If I do that, then the dock can be a separate thing that people can buy if they want to buy. Auto panelizer. There's KaiKit, which I use to panelize my stuff. It's not auto. You can't really have an auto panelizer. Like every board that has, or for me anyway, most of my stuff have unique. Catch you later, Graham. Have a good day. Thanks for joining. Yeah, they've all got unique panelization requirements. So yeah, KaiKit is great.
Hello.
Having the magnet one, I think the cable should exit from the left of the device so the user can place it on their right side. Cable loop back. Well, if it goes on the left, it's going to be hanging out the side, and if it goes on the right, it'll be hidden behind. At the end of the day, it's going to be what it's going to be, I guess. It shouldn't be showing 2 of them. Why is it showing 2 of them? Tap. Oh, am I not checking children? Hang on. Yeah, that's a bit silly. A lot of this code needs cleaning up, right? It's in development. So okay, go through the children first. And if they don't do anything, then why is it launching? It should only be instantiating. Ah, right. Okay, only add if it's a thing. It's possible to upload code to a board using NFC. I wouldn't think so. Hello, Foo. New to the channel. What am I doing? I'm working on a framework, on like a library for my new device that doesn't have a name, by the way, folks. It needs a name. Right now, it's called the Unexpected Maker Square Display. I need a name for it. Anyway, this is a new product of mine that I'm developing, and I'm currently working on a Arduino / well, it's a Platform IO framework for it, for people to be able to develop whatever apps they want and stuff on it. So okay, good. Temperature should show no humidity, so it should only get 3. Call it unnamed device. Handy screen. No, that's not handy screen. Hello, need more sensors. Should be 2 more sensors coming. Well, here we go. Why are they not getting a call back? No, I'm not using little VGL. Developer Square. I'm using Larry's BB SPI LCD. If people want to use little VGL, they can do their own stuff with that. But yeah, I know what it is. I know all about it. Not interested for this product. What it is. Yeah, I've got a lot of functionality inside this that you can't do in other, or in any other library at the moment. Developer Square. Touch me. What am I doing? So let's tap. Maybe it doesn't have a bounce? What? Thank you. Yeah, it's come out really well. Quite happy with it, how it all came together. Hello, Johnny. It's Johnny. Why is this not capturing the touch of this device? Unless they're busy. Hmm. Well, I'll have them available soon. Soon as in still probably a few weeks away. So I've got a few weeks to get this library cleaned up and more featured, and no, I'm thinking like so I appreciate everyone's name ideas, but what about like a name like Fred? Not Fred. What about a name that has nothing to do with square or display or touch? Like a name, like I don't know. So the sensors are coming from MQTT, from sensors around my office that are publishing via MQTT, and it's using MQTT to find that data and parse it and display it. Had a guest here. Are we there yet? Oh, we are there. No, it's not letting me do that. I'm going to have to print out what these are. I knew I shouldn't have hacked this together. And how are we 183 degrees in my office? 17 degrees in the packing area, 17 degrees, 17.9 degrees in the at the pick and place machine, 183.21. Wow, what the hell? It's got Wi-Fi and BLE. It's an SP32 S3. Um, fine. Why does it keep creating new ones? Ah, right. It's creating new ones for the... Okay, I need to fix all that. You know me from BitLooney Chat. Yeah, from Looney Streams, other places. Okay, this is just going to keep adding new... Yeah. Yeah, we don't want it. Well, it's not actually going to add. It's just printing. It's adding. So it's only adding it if it's a temperature. But it's not recognizing the tapping. I mean, it's the window, back window is getting the tapping. So it's going to have to be something to do with the bounds check. So let's print f bounds. Oh, let's check the tap is that comma that, and the bounds is okay. %d with %d. Okay, so we've got touch x, no, touch event.x, touch event.y. That's the touch position, and then we've got x, y, width, height. So it's going to every time I touch, it's going to print that out for each one of these widgets. So we'll get to see if it's failing on the bounds check, or if it's just not propagating. Hang on, am I adding them as children? Yeah, add child UI. Okay, definitely being added as children. Look box. I'm not adding dragging around. I've got dragging code in there, but it's too slow to move stuff around. It's a microcontroller, not a computer. So the UI that I'm doing is extremely complex. It's multiple layers of blended graphics, like all this transparency stuff. Layers of transparency over transparency over transparency. So making that draw, keeping the background intact, way too slow to move stuff around. Okay, so the tap was at 57 by 192, and my bounds are 932 and 104 by 104. That's interesting. Right. I'm not normalizing the position that's being sent through. So when I tap on that, so the X is right, but the Y, so the position here of
Alan
Y,
Madsen says, how about versatile?
it's a cool name. I would think there ought to be stuff out there called that, maybe. I don't know. So like Pomerone, you've got a 4-inch screen thing. This is called Presto, right? And they do stuff like their RGB LED panels called Galactic Unicorn, right? Like they don't call it RGB panel, right? Or whatever. Like they come up with names that are different. So the problem here is the Y coordinate that I'm checking against is the Y relative to the window it's in, not screen space, but the touch is screen space. So the Y I'm doing is 185, but it's only checking up to Y. So it's at 30 on the window. So what I need to do is when it propagates that through, what is the one called? MyPad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll get sued by Apple if I do that. So what I need to do is create a new touch event. .x will equal touch event.x. Plus x and the y plus y. So that'll be based on the windows x and y. And now I'm going to send that through. So every widget's relative to its parent. not sure versatile makes a good product name, but like you got like, you know, a derivative of that, or I don't know. I don't know. It's versatile doesn't say what it is. Neither does Presto, but Presto makes it sound like it's magic. Hello. What cheese can never be yours? Nacho cheese. Nacho cheese. Ah, yeah, bad joke. What was Pumpkin's favorite sport? Squash. Kadabra. That might be a bit too close to Pomeroni's. Why is that not even printing it now? I'm not even getting the serial logs now. What the?
Rick the Almighty says just name the device DocSimp panel face.
Foxy panel. Yeah, I don't think unexpected should be in the name. Oh, I didn't set the event type. Oh my god, you idiot. Man. Yeah, I didn't set the type. That's stupid. It wasn't passing the tap on. Hey, Edwin, there should be a degree sign between 11 and C. There is, but the font doesn't have it, so it's being dropped off. So it is actually in the data. It's there, but the Ubuntu Mono fonts don't have a degree character. Call it Pinky. Punk box. Let's call it Punk box. Come on, grab the.
Hello.
Yes, I know. As I said, there's no degree character. So I can't print 11 degree C. Yeah, I don't have a copy. I need to do I'll add a copy on the thing so you don't have to do any of that. Okay, so it's now tapping it. Whoa. At 321. I don't think so. Oh my god. Oh, shoot me in the head now. Shoot me in the head. Minus. Minus. I want to deduct off to get it to the relative spot. Stupid! You're trying to relate the touch to the widget you are touching. Oslo. Just gonna call it late for lunch. Call it presto lunch. Yeah, relative to the... So the widget is relative to its window, to its parent. So the whole UI system is layered. So there's a screen, and a screen has a whole lot of children, which in this case are windows. But that could be anything. It could be a widget directly on the screen, or it could be a label directly on the screen. And then any UI element can have its own children that get drawn relative to itself, right? And every level controls the drawing of their children. So when is the PlaneMate going to be available for purchase? In a couple of weeks. I'll hopefully have a first batch in a couple of weeks. Yay! Sensor index is not 1. Should be supposed to say now 1. Okay, that's working now. Oh my god, I'm just like, can't get any shit right, can I? Is now. Okay, so that's cycling the sensor index. So when I tap on one of these, it now knows it's got 2 sets of data on it. And so the third one coming in, and that also knows it's got 2 sets of data, and it defaults to 0. So now, finally we can have it change what it's drawing. So it's already grabbing the data separately. So we should have to redraw 32. I can make them fade, but I'm not going to make them fade right now. I'm just going to make it redraw the icon. And so it's going to redraw the icon. It's going to rerun this. And it's going to load the correct payload index data, which will change the sensor value. It won't change the graphic, actually. Okay, I'll do this. I will make it. It's not the graphic that I'm going to keep, but it won't be loaded in. Okay, it won't be loaded in. I'm going to change how that works. It's going to have to load them all in. Okay, so this will at least change the data. So when I click on it now, it'll redraw the icon. The graphic will stay there, but it'll change the word temperature to humidity, and it'll change the data to be interesting. That's going to show, it'll show, yeah, the correct data. Developers touchy square, the anything mate. Ahoy. The anything mate. The anything mate, so long as you code it yourself. Is that too long a name? Ubuntu mono. Let's find out why we can't have degrees. Oh, there is a degree. So why the down under thing? Okay, let's see if it changes. Oh, it did. So that it's not. I'm not recentering the text or anything. But that says humidity, 52%. So you can now click on the sensor to change what it is. Watch when the next one comes in. See it fade in? Did everyone see that fade in? For those that missed it, apart from all the other stuff I've added, like haptics and everything else to this, I've added an animation, a tweening system to tween things like fading stuff in and out. 100% humidity in the office and 183 degrees. That's not right. Something is wrong with this. I'm going to reset the sensor. Something is wrong with that. Yeah, no, it's sitting on my desk right next to me. I don't know why it's showing that. I've just restarted it, reset it. And why is it not connecting? Maybe it's dead. So unplugged it, plugged it back in. Okay, now it's connecting. Well, it should update next time with some better data, hopefully. Once it sends it through again. Yeah, that's damn hot. Maybe it's in Fahrenheit. Well, the 100% humidity is not in Fahrenheit. I wonder if the sensor's died. The BME sensor. I'm using a PicoDev sensor, one of the core electronics ones. I'll have to that's just sitting on my desk here. Like it's really not a computer fan thing. Oh, it picked up another one. It's got a different name now. Office, and it's now 20 degrees. Okay, for some reason it got a new ID or something happened. Interesting. Oh, and now it just changed the temperature again. Now it's gone to 100 and 180. Now it's gone to 20 and 56. And now 180. Oh, it's added it to the same one. Look, indexes. Oh, you can't see that. Right, I know. Okay. It's cycling through the old data. See here? Indexes now. It should only be 2 indexes. And that's 1, 2, 3. So that's why. If I reset it, it'll be fine. So I'll have to, I've not added delete this one if the sensor's disappeared. I haven't put that in there yet. The clicky thing. The clicky thing. So anyway, it's pretty cool. I'm happy with it. I'd like to see what it looks like in retro colors though. I definitely think it might look okay in retro instead of black. It's got a bit of weight to it. I don't have any scales here. Only my big scales downstairs for weighing boxes. But it's got a bit of weight. The pixel, Pixel. I actually don't mind that. Pixel, Johnny. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I think it's cool. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. Hang on, one more thing I want to add. I don't know if this will work anymore because I Might have broken all the code to do it, but let's go. It's one of my polymer rods inside the car while installing a dash cam today. Polymer rod? What's a polymer rod? Okay, let's go that there. Let's go to the screen. Okay, for my own requirements. So if the touch event is greater than 3, greater than or equal to 3, it's going to do a swipe and print it, and we're going to tell this to if swipe right.
Alan Madsen says maybe only indicate temperature with 1 decimal place.
Sure, it's just test. It's test for now. They're not going to look like that. They look terrible. That's just developer widgets. Is it 3, 4? So if equals 5. Oops. Actually, do I have? Oh, I do. Right, I can just do that. Screen. So I'm going to show next background. This could break everything. This could break everything, or it might not. This might let me swipe to the right and have the whole background change, the wallpaper. And that is what did I do? Whoops. Okay. So if my old code still works, the UI should all fade out, the background should change, and then the UI should fade back in again. Oh, what the hell? There, not there. Bloody hell. Exit stage left. Can you tell it? Can I tell the difference? I can't tell the difference between, but people like decimal places. Sure. Again, it's all just, this is just developer code. Developer code. Okay, come on, flash, flash. So, as I said, I don't know if this will work. It might crash. It might just put garbage on the screen. But it might do something. Hello. So, I'll wait till it loads the weather in. Okay. What's it doing? Whoa. Why is it disconnecting? Why is it not detecting my swipes? Okay. Okay, that's all working. Call it Alan. Thanks, Osloy. Thanks for joining. So if it didn't click, if I got something, it returns true. Otherwise, it should keep going through. Process touch. Because I'm not letting go of the touch. Maybe that's why. So once I touched something, that was staying in the selected item and I wasn't letting go of it. Maybe. 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 Let's see. Catch you later, Life in Cycling. Have a good sleep. I'm going to end shortly. I just want to see if I can get this going. See if it still works. Hello. Why is it not getting touch on the screen? Host children. Something else has to be capturing it. Oh, hang on. No, check bounds. Right, they're only doing those ones. They should be returning false. As I said, I have a lot of work still to do. A lot of work. Make it long press and then read the data out. What? Maybe make it long. Make what long pressed and read the data out? Come on. I'm getting a little better. A little better. I still do stupid things, mostly on a stream. So the way the touch system works, as I said, all UI has children/parents, right? And so everything is based on a screen. You can have multiple screens. Eventually, the idea to switch between different screens of content, but by default, everything works off a screen. So a screen class then has children, and those children can, in this case, the time thing is a child, the time widget, the weather widget's a child, the battery widget's a child, this is a child, that's a child, and then each of those can have their own children. So when you do a touch, what the screen does is the screen gets the touch command, and then it goes through and says, okay, process. It goes through all of the children first, right? Processes, it goes all the way. Everything gets told to do their children all the way, right? And then if a child's touch, if the bounds check and a touch event doesn't match the child, then it sends a false, and that trickles all the way back down to the screen. So everyone within that bounds area gets checked, right? So in the case of this, the window for the MQTT sensors, it says, okay, if that window gets a touch, it first checks the children, which is how we do the tapping on here. Okay, do any of those have a touch? If so, it returns true, right? Otherwise, it falls back to, okay, is the touch in my area? That's interesting. This should actually be inside there, because if it's not inside that, it shouldn't check the children. Anyway, it goes through then and says, okay, does the window have anything? So the window has the, yes, if it's a tap, tap, right? So it does that here. It was. Why is nothing tapping now? Oh, it did not like me doing that, did it? Did not like that. Anyway, and so this should go, okay, the event wasn't a tap, and it wasn't a touch long, and it wasn't a touch double. In this case, it was a swipe. So I don't have anything here that matches, so it returns false. So then this would pass it back to the screen. All right, so the screen gets a tap, passes it on to all of its children, and then it should fall back to the screen. And then the screen, so that's why I put these logs here, the screen should then say, well, if this wasn't true for any of the children, do I have one? In this case, it should be checking if the event is greater or equal to 3. So if it's not a tap, double tap, or a long, if it's a left, up, right, down, or an unknown, it should capture it. And then I'm saying, if it's touch swipe right, show the next background. That's what it should be doing. So when I tap here, see it got a tap. If I double tap, and if I long press, they are all captured by the MQTT sensors. But the swipe is not, because I've taken the swipe away. But it's not falling back to the screen. I'm being a bit dramatic with it. See, there's no tap on the screen up here, but there should be a swipe. And I'm actually going to move that into here. Going to clean all that up. That's just some old code. So it's not receiving the touch. No, it works very different to sprite collision on the 64. I just explained how it works. It's all done by bounds check from a touch position. It's all bubble based. Like it bubbles down. Well, it bubbles up and then falls back down. Okay, this is annoying. Swipe was working there, so... Oh, I know why. I know why. Because in here, I'm setting for a window. Where am I setting it? Block dragging. I know why. Oh, block dragging is true by default. So maybe that's not why. So I do have dragging support, by the way. So I can read block dragging, but I can't set it. But it should be true. So block dragging is to... No, it's not a sort. It just bubbles. It's event bubbling. So I've got two things. I've got where it detects a swipe, and I've got dragging where it can detect I've touched and I've moved my finger and it tracks the delta and then it detects a let go, right? So I've got here, drag begin, drag end, right? And they work, but they don't work if you're blocking dragging, right? Right now I don't have a purpose for dragging, but I've got code there for it anyway, if I ever want to implement it. So swiping won't work unless you're dragging. But why is... I don't understand. The only thing it could be is find element. Oh, it's only looking at the children, but never in itself. And it returns null. Ah, that would be why. It never returns itself. So it returned null. It actually needs to return this. So the screen will check all of its children and all of its children's children and whatever, blah, 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 but it would never fall back to itself. It would fall back to nothing was touched. So that should fix it. There you go. Don't you like fixing bugs live on a stream? 30 people still watching, but I reckon 27 of them are sleeping. Okay, if this works, I'm going to go get a coffee. I'm going to stop. I'm going to go get a coffee, and I'm going to... Yeah. Don't know what I'm doing. Analyze boards, I guess. Come on, build. Flash.
Hello.
Okay, ready? Yeah. Oh, 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 oh! Do we see that? Let it finish loading. Did you see that? That was unexpected. Swipe. Oh! Bit flashy. The icons don't know what to do. The icons don't have the callback to do the fading. Look at that. Those icons are annoying. Look at that. Oh, that's not, the time's not working. I have to fix that. It's not recapturing the background. It kind of works okay if the background's dark. But you can see there it's got black maybe around it. Can you recommend to watch that? What's the video? You gonna dox me, Johnny? Is it gonna be Rick Astley? That's pretty cool. I can sit here doing this all day. It's a C layout library. C layout library. You mean UI layout? Right, okay. Open in a new window. One month ago. Clay's a UI layout library written in C. Getting an ad right now. Okay, we don't have any of his audio. So, interestingly, one of the things that I've got on TinyWatch that I thought about bringing over to this, and I haven't yet, is the ability to, you don't position stuff. You don't position UI like on XY coordinates, whatever. You put them in cells, like where they auto size to fit grids, a grid array, whatever. I'll have a watch of this.
Cian, Chad has disconnected.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, cool. I'll have a watch. Thanks, Johnny. I might maybe watch it during lunch. But this is working. Check the icons. Boom. Yeah. I'll fix that. Anyway, the library itself's not important, but it explains stuff very well. Yeah, it looks like he goes into good detail. So I'll definitely give it a watch. Okay, folks, I am going to end it here. Thank you for watching. I'm very excited about this. I think once you got it in your hand, if you get one in your hand, I don't think I can do it justice just by showing you what this is. It just looks like a screen in a case, right? It actually, like ergonomically, maybe it's just my hands, I don't know. And everything, and the weight of it, it actually feels substantial. Like it actually feels like a thing. I don't have a price. I haven't priced it yet. I haven't. Thanks, Johnny. The Pixel. I haven't even worked out costing yet. There's a lot of hardware in it. There's a lot of peripherals, a lot of stuff. So I need to work it all out. I wish I could solve the fingerprints, but that's not me. I can't do anything about that. Yeah, so how long will the batteries run? How long's a piece of string? I don't know. It's got 150 milliamp hour battery in it. Sorry, 1500 milliamp hour battery in it. And right now I have no battery optimization. I don't do any screen dimming. I don't do any CPU clock cycle. There's a lot of firmware still to do. You've got to remember the firmware is a work in progress. I'll keep developing, keep adding to it. I just need to get it to a base level where I don't break anything when I push out an update. So how long will the battery last? Depends on what you're making it do. Right? It's designed for people to write their own firmware for, or to extend the firmware. Yeah, it's got a fuel gauge in here. So you can see there's the battery icon. And it's full at the moment, because it's been sitting on the dock charging. So it's got a fuel gauge. You can measure the battery with an interrupt to the MCU. You can trigger when it gets low or whatever, and you can put it to sleep, I guess, and wake it up again, and all those things. I still have to add all that functionality. So lots of firmware to keep writing, but from a hardware point of view, I2S audio, SD card can't be run at the same time. You can switch between them. It's okay. Haptics, RTC, peripheral. So even if I turn it off, the time stays. So I'm going to turn it off, click and hold. You can see what time it is, or 9 something, right? So it's off right now. If I turn it back on again, oh, it's my reflection. Hello. Oh. Anyway, 9:17. You see the time? I've got a bug on a hard power on. The timing of the screen I need to fix. You can make it do any of those things, Wagon Loads, but it won't work like that out of the box. If you want to develop a joystick for it that can talk Bluetooth or wireless, whatever, sure, you can do any of those things. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, peripherals. What other peripherals has it got? I don't know. Anyway, I'm done. I need to go get a coffee. Thank you all for joining. Lenny would have forgotten to charge the battery. Probably. Thanks for watching. I am so distracted. I will catch you all next week. Post joystick info to Jason. Sure. Whatever. However you want it to do. Again, people want functionality out of it, they need to develop it. But I'll give you the framework to do it nicely. Okay. Bye everyone. Take care. Catch you next week.